All right, guys, we are live on YouTube. This is ARMBAR Radio.
I'm gonna have to cut armbar unleash kind of short because I have to get going.
Yeah.
As soon as it ends, I have to get going.
Yeah, same here because I have an interview tomorrow.
I have an exam, dude.
But anyway, how's it going, guys?
What's your interview?
We're live, by the way, already on YouTube. So, interviews and mission, by the way.
Mission 3?
Yes, sir. Training center.
What are you applying for?
I'm applying for a training position, actually. So,
What position training?
it's going to be a cashier trainer, dedicated trainer.
CCOM?
No, not CCOM. A cashier trainer, someone that trains like the new cashiers. Like CCOM is like a department.
Are they going to give you full-time yet or no?
Mike, you're still not full time.
Guys, we are on the air right now.
You've been working there for like 10 years.
He clearly
Yeah,
established that.
Dang.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Let's get the link going here on Facebook. I already have us set up on YouTube or whatever. You can't really see me, but that's okay. It's going to be a little hot in here also. Hold on, let me copy the link. All right, guys. Who wants to tell our fans what ARMBAR is about?
Bert. Go for it, Tony.
Okay. Yes, guys, if you never heard of ARMBAR Radio, it's about professional wrestling. We talk about the indies, we talk about WWE, we talk about TNA wrestling every now and then, NXT. So multiple wrestling independent zones. We talk a lot about New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. A lot of famous talents. We do basically recaps of Monday Night Raw, sometimes SmackDown if we have a chance. We even talk about a lot of wrestling terminology. So let's talk about wrestling in the past. Maybe you guys had the Attitude Era, which you were growing up. Maybe the 1980s or Ruthless Aggression Era. Whatever we can think about. We even talk about topics, historical events. So that's basically what ARMBAR is about. It's a wrestling radio station in the Rio Grande Valley. We share topics. We even sometimes have wrestlers on our show. So this is the Rio Grande Valley's of home of wrestling radio, talk radio. Subscribe, by the way, to ARMBAR, KCYP on YouTube, and also go through our Facebook page to ARMBAR Radio. You got Tony Matuk, which is myself.
Isaac Reese.
Jay Ochoa.
And Mike the Biz.
I accidentally turned off the camera over here. But we got you, don't worry. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and start it out. I mean, we should be ready. Everything's looking good here. I'm going to go ahead and start recording, Tony. This is the KCYP recording for our radio station. So let's count down. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hi, and welcome to ARMBAR, the Valley home of our radio station of wrestling. Here we're doing it at my house. My name is Tony Matuk. We're having it here in our household here with this great podcast. My esteemed colleagues.
Isaac Reese.
Jay Ochoa.
And Mike, the business guys, here to take care of you.
Today we're going to be talking about all kinds of great topics in wrestling. We're going to talk about Raw, SmackDown, a little SmackDown if we have time. We're going to also talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're going to also start off with the indies. But right now, we're going to take a little moment of silence. We just heard news. We're passing of the late, great Balls Mahoney. He's a ECW legend, one of the main faces of ECW. He was also one of the tag team champions with the late Axl Rotten. He died at the age of 44. His birthday was just past Monday.
Day after his birthday.
They found him dead.
Hey, me and him share a birthday, actually.
Yeah. Wow. That's real sad. I mean, and we want to wish, by the way, Michael Bossadua, Mike the Biz. It was his birthday yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Monday.
Monday.
Monday. He turned a big 3-0. So we're in the 30-year-old club now.
Oh gosh.
Even Jay.
I'm like a good 9 years old.
Isaac's a little off, yeah.
He said, well, hey, at least he made the drinking age.
Yeah.
But we're here at my house. We're doing it here at my house. And we're just doing a little bit. We usually go to Mike's house, but they were doing it at my house. It's pretty cozy up in here. So, yes, we want to do a moment of silence to the late, great Balls Mahoney, age 44. Now we're back. Now, the first segment we're going to talk about is the independent circuit of wrestling and New Japan. It's going to be about all that great topics with Jay and Isaac. Jay, Isaac, go on and lead on it.
All right, let's get into it. This past weekend was New Japan's premier pay-per-view Invasion Attack 2016, featuring the main event Kazuchika Okada versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Jay.
Very historic main event. We had a new IWGP Heavyweight Champion with Tetsuya Naito defeating Okada, but also the big reveal, the newest member of Los... Matt might help me out. I have a little struggle
Sin Gobernables de Japón.
Yes. In which the debuting Sonata, formerly from TNA Wrestling, former X Division champion and former Wrestle One standout, debuted and joined that particular group. But that was not the only title change that took place in Invasion Attack.
Not just that one. I believe that Roppongi Vice defeated Matt Sydal and Ricochet for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship.
Yes, indeed, they did. A very deserved victory for 2/4 of the group Chaos for Rocky Romero and Beretta. But also we had new never openweight 6-man tag team champions with Unbreakable
Tanahashi, Elgin, and Yoshitatsu.
Exactly, defeating
the elite
of the Bullet Club, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and a possible stare down that could lead to an Intercontinental title match between Unbreakable Michael Elgin and Kenny Omega.
It's going to be very exciting, especially because I believe Michael Elgin's a really great wrestler, but I believe Kenny Omega can carry the whole roster right now.
At this point, he is perhaps the biggest name, in my opinion, that's in New Japan Pro Wrestling is Kenny Omega. And
not just that, but the Guerrillas of Destiny defeated GBH.
Yeah. The two sons of legend wrestler Haku, or Meng, as he was also known in WCW. You had Tangaroa and Tama Tonga becoming the new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. How do you see them as perhaps the guys filling the voids that Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson left when they left New Japan?
See, I can see them filling the voids really well because the thing is, New Japan needs big guys. They need big, strong men to fill in those roles because Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, let's face it, those guys dwarfed about everybody in there besides maybe, say, Bad Luck Fale.
Yeah.
But I don't see them necessarily as replacements, but more so as just, two big men, two strong guys who can hold their own in the ring with these Japanese competitors.
Definitely, man. And what was funny was Kenny Omega made a reference about how he felt wrestling fans wasted their money on a show that took place the week before.
Oh, I love that.
And honestly, with the rant that you provided last week about WrestleMania, you were not alone in that sense when it came to how fans, may have felt somewhat robbed with WrestleMania, but may have been possibly brought back with Invasion Attack. If you had the chance to see it on New Japan World, definitely got your money's worth with Invasion Attack, and definitely another great show from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And of course, New Japan will be back in the United States on May the 8th with Global Wars presented with New Japan Ring of Honor. I'm so excited for that match. So let's talk a little bit about it. I noticed that during the match, Nick Jackson, he fell on Cody Hall pretty hard during the 6-man tag. It was pretty nasty looking, actually. Yeah. And Cody Hall had spent the night in the hospital, but he is recovering, thankfully. He's got a very bright future ahead of him, does the son of Reyes Ramon, Cody Hall. And hope to see him back in the ring soon. But, yeah, that was a pretty nasty bump that he took. How do you think Cody Hall's doing so far as a young boy? Rome wasn't open today. I mean, he's getting better by the day as far as his wrestling is concerned, but we'll see what that leads to for Cody Hall. Because I've seen a bit of him in the independent circuit. I mean, he's not bad. He's just, he's a little green. Yeah, but at the same token, that's where he's got some great teachers, especially being part of the Bullet Club, where you have a lot of veterans like the Young Bucks and Omega and Bad Luck Fale. So he's definitely in the right learning tree as Cody Hall. And, of course, hey, he grew up in the business with Scott Hall being his father, so he can only just learn from there. All right, let's go on to the main event here. Kazuchika Okada lost the title to Tetsuya Naito. Let's talk a bit about that. I thought it was a really good technical match, and I thought it was really good display. But honestly, I don't like dusty finishes, especially for New Japan. Yeah, it surprised me, especially with the surprising debut of Sonata joining Naito's group, of course. But at the same token, what surprised me the most, what was very significant, was Naito throwing the championship in the air, just leaving it there. Absolutely. Like he felt like if he was above the richest prize in Japanese wrestling.
Which is funny because he hasn't been a heel that long.
No, he recently turned on Tanahashi last summer during the G1 tournament. But yeah, just it's going to definitely be interesting to see where it leads with Naito being now the top man in the top company in Japan.
Honestly, what I'm expecting here is an inevitable showdown. Maybe we might see Bullet Club versus Ingobernables.
Could definitely see that in the future. I mean, they're right now the two hottest heel factions in Japan. So it's only a matter of time before those two collide, similar to that of a Shield Wyatt family showdown we had a couple of years back.
Let's just hope it doesn't turn into anything stupid like NWO versus NWO Wolfpack or anything like that.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't. That happened in WCW, but where's WCW at these days?
If only you can find it on $9.99
on the WWE Network. And also, of course, definitely a great show for Lucha Underground tonight that I witnessed. The Trios match to start the Trios tournament. Rey Mysterio, Azteca Dragon, and Prince Puma taking on Taya, Johnny Mundo, and Cage. Great main event that we saw tonight, which was also on at the same time as Shinsuke Nakamura's NXT debut.
Against Perfect 10.
It was against Ty Dillinger, and it was. I love the simulcast every Wednesday night with NXT and Lucha Underground.
Just put them on side by side, right?
Exactly. I love every minute of it. If you missed Lucha Underground tonight, hopefully they show some replays during the week on LA Network. It was a very standout match, and I look for big things in the Trios tournament. And also look for big things next week with Matanzo Cueto and Mil Muertes, the two monsters of Lucha Underground, going at it for the championship next Wednesday.
It's going to be insane.
Indeed. Could be deadly.
All right, let's go on here. Moving on to Monday Night Raw. So let's go ahead and get started here. Shane McMahon is brought back again, apparently due to popular request. Gotta say this, he's kind of like the substitute teacher that you don't want anybody to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's doing what's really best for business, listening to the fans, doing what Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and to a degree Vince McMahon, were not doing really since SummerSlam 2013 when the Authority started. And a lot happened on Monday Night Raw, including the debut of
the Bullet Club.
Carl Anderson and now Luke Gallows.
And you know what's cool is that there's some SmackDown spoilers right here, but they actually attacked some locals this past week on SmackDown, and Carl Anderson, I believe, got on the mic and he just said, "You know who we are, but you don't know why we're here."
Sounds very, very familiar. And Tony, I'm sure you heard that.
Yes, we have.
20 years ago.
That was 20 years ago, 1996, I believe. It's when Hall and Nash were leaving WWE for better contracts with WCW. And yes, I remember Scott Hall was wearing a blue jean jacket and blue jeans, and he was leaving, and that's when he started saying that infamous speech.
I gotta say this, I really like the fact that Carl Anderson and Gallows are just wearing street clothes. It makes them look really intimidating. Makes it look very true to life. And this could be this generation's version of NWO. Hopefully they don't screw it up as badly, because I believe the biggest problem with the NWO was that they inducted anybody and everybody into the whereas the Bullet Club seemed like kind of an exclusive club. Like it was the elite of the elite athletes, the elite of elite gaijin.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be just anyone off the street. It was like, hey, someone that was going to mean something. And that's where the Bullet Club succeeded in Japan, where you don't hear about New Japan Pro Wrestling having any financial hard times like WCW later had after the NWO storyline. Pretty much,
absolutely,
we're starting to see its end of days, I guess you could say.
All right, so starting off here, I was actually really excited to hear that they're starting a new tag team tournament like that. I love tournaments especially on pro wrestling shows. Like I miss the King of the Ring pay-per-views. So hearing this and hearing that there's going to be a number one contendership, especially for Payback, it's really exciting for me to hear because it's kind of unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully, I'm personally gunning for Enzo and Big Cass to get the contendership. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this kind of reminiscence of the last tag team tournament thing that we had, which was NXT, right? With the Dusty Rhodes tag team tournament challenge, I want to say, and who ended up winning that again? It was wasn't Big Cass. It
was Finn Balor.
It was Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, who are very good adversaries right now, actually, and they've been putting on some great matches. But I mean, with all these new upcomers that are coming up from the Indies, NXT, etc., it's gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully, a revamp of the tag team division. I mean, like I said last week's show that I feel like the New Day are the tag team champions, etc. Right? Yes, but they don't really have any competition. The Usos, really. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you no longer have Titus O'Neil and Darren Young, and Stardust and Goldust are no longer a thing, right? So I mean, it's good to see that all these new and upcoming tag teams are going to come. So I'm excited about it. What do you think, Tony?
Well, you know what? Since the Bullet Club has made their debut on Raw, they look so fresh. They look ready. When I saw that clothesline, that running lariat, that tells me, damn, they're fresh. I mean, if you think about it, we've seen the Usos. They had their championship time. We've seen Darren Young. Why don't we go for fresh meat?
Mm-hmm.
And when you see guys like that aggressivity, you rarely see that. Now we're finally seeing that happen, and I hope they do participate in the tag team tournament.
Yeah, they're not in the tournament per se.
Yeah, they're not in the bracket yet.
They're not, but I wish they were.
But
because they haven't officially debuted.
Yeah, they're still, I guess you could say, on the outside looking in, but there's still some great tag teams in this tournament that are left. I mean, we just saw the Dudleys beat the Lucha Dragons. We just also saw, I'm trying to remember what was the other tag team match that took place on Raw. It was...
we got the Leave Nations part of the tag team. I wish the Wyatts, too, were...
Yeah. I know Enzo and Cass are in it as well. The Vaudevillains, they'll be facing our Truth and
It was
Goldust
Usos versus Social Outcasts.
Yeah, there you go. The Usos and Social Outcasts.
And I believe the winners were the Usos.
The Usos were the winners, and then after the interruption by the Bullet Club.
Yeah. But also, let's talk about what kicked off Raw was Kevin Owens wanting his Intercontinental title rematch, but got a little something else in return.
Yes, he ends up facing the Swiss Superman, Cesaro. Now,
I gotta say, it was such a pleasant surprise to see Cesaro finally get a win. Yeah. It's been so long to me.
It was, but you know what? I hate to say it, but I hate to play the smallest violin. I kind of agree with JBL on this. He does deserve a rematch, regardless you hate this guy or not. Whether you lose a championship title, if he demands a rematch, you should give him the rematch. Yeah. But apparently, that's not what Shane wanted to do, and so he had to, earn a spot. But you know what? I have a feeling that he will take part in the Intercontinental Championship match. Maybe it could be a triple threat or a four-way.
I'm going to say this. It makes me a little hopeful for Kevin Owens because that means maybe he's finally moving on from the Intercontinental scene, hopefully going up to the main title, the WWE Championship.
He's trying to get himself in. I mean, he was calling out Shane saying, like, hey, I want my spot, but Shane said no since he attacked Sami Zayn last week behind the scenes, right? Mm-hmm. But, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I mean, who knows? Hopefully KO gets his rifle shot later on in the future. Right now we know that AJ Styles is the #1 contender for that main title, but we'll see.
Can I just say this? Is Kevin Owens the only guy to be evacuated from the building and actually, stay out?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's been a long time. Well, he made a threat to Shane McMahon, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
don't cross the boss.
But do his job.
You know what, though? I mean, that was one of the most
a great match.
Greatest matches I've seen.
AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn is a match.
That was a great one, too.
That is a must-watch match.
That should have been the main event.
Yeah. To me, that was like main event material matches, and you rarely see matches like that. I mean, those matches were epic. I mean, it could have gone either way with that match. I mean, Zayn was on his A game. That big flying forearm.
By the way, did any of you see Zayn almost get dropped on his head during the spot?
I did see that, yeah.
That was frightening to me.
That was. He took a really bad bump on
But otherwise, I thought it was a really great match, and I thought that AJ Styles always puts it through. Sami Zayn turned it up to 11 for this match, and I have to say that it was probably my match of the night.
Yeah. I have to agree with you on that one.
It was quite a matchup, and I'm glad that Zayn at least had an opportunity to possibly challenge for the championship. Could have been a possible triple threat match, but I'm still happy with what the main event's going to be on May 1st at Payback with Roman Reigns and AJ Styles for the World's Championship.
Moving a little further ahead here, but I'm personally banking on Anderson Gallows interfering in the match and turning AJ heel for the title.
That's the thing, though, is I don't want to boo AJ Styles.
Oh, I'm going to cheer him no matter what.
Yeah, why would you want to boo AJ Styles? I think everybody would love to see the Bullet Club emerge.
I mean, like a point I made not so long ago, I think the only way I've ever accepted Ambrose heel turn is if it was to reunite the Shield, have them as heels, because Reigns is already hated. and have him feud with the Bullet Club because the fans are going to love him because they're fresh new faces for the most part to WWE programming.
So you think that Isaac? You think that if AJ becomes heel, they reunite with the Bullet Club, and then you got Reigns, which everybody hates right now. He reemerges with the Shield and gets Dean Ambrose in there.
Yeah, and especially since everybody knows that Rollins is coming back a face. I think Shield versus Bullet Club is going to be the must-see feud of the year.
So would that be heel Shield or would that be the face
Shield?
So it'll be face Shield? Okay.
All right, moving forward, fellas. All right, since you guys already talked about that tag match with the Dudley Boys and the Lucha Dragons, right? Winners and losers there are the Dudley Boys, as you guys said. Let's move on to the WWE Women's Title match, Natalya versus Charlotte. Okay.
I really did like that it ended in DQ. Like that, just to me.
Another DQ. I forget how it ended. Hold on. Go ahead and remind me, Isaac. I mean, I remember it was a good match. It wasn't that bad of a match. Natalya had the one-up on Charlotte, and it looked like she was going to win the match.
I believe Ric Flair interfered in there somehow.
Ric Flair interfered again, right? Man,
and what happened after that? What did Dr. Phil do?
Oh, gosh. Don't forget, people, Dr. Phil was guest hosting Raw.
Remind us, Tony, what did Dr. Phil do?
Dr. Phil, it looked like Big Bird going to Nature Boy Ric Flair and doing, woo! 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 I mean, he couldn't stop doing it. He looked like he was scaring Ric Flair. This is Ric Flair. Like he's doing the Kuna Matata. and I'm thinking, he's just, preaching on the way he does his shows, saying, you need to stand on your own 2 feet, and you need to realize that this man is holding you back. And
can I just say that Dr. Phil actually cut a pretty good promo?
Yes.
Oh, big time.
He cut a better promo than most WWE guys.
God, I'd like to see Dr. Phil versus Dr. Phil.
Oh, Dr. Shelby.
Dr. Shelby. I think that would be a great matchup.
That would be actually really good.
I remember that promo with Dr. Shelby when Damian Sandow or Cody Rhodes said Dr. Phil was a better doctor, and he's like, Dr. Phil, get him! with Team Elmo.
And now that's a happy spot. Oh, man.
All right, now how did y'all feel about Lucha Dragons losing, especially this early on to the Dudleys? First round elimination.
It's leading to the Dudleys possibly going after Enzo and Cass, so to me it made sense.
You know what I'm surprised by, though? I'm surprised that we didn't see any dissension from the Lucha Dragons. Like maybe even Sin Cara getting tired of Kalisto getting the whole spotlight, maybe turning this into a rivalry. Who knows? Maybe we could get Kalisto versus Sin Cara at Payback for the U.S. title.
I can see that because I feel like something's brewing up, and it's not fair. Sin Cara's been a big staple in Mexican wrestling. I mean, and this man should have been champion multiple times in the WWE.
Was he ever a singles champion?
Not in WWE.
No.
The only gold Sin Cara's held is the NXT tag titles with Kalisto in late 2014.
Yeah.
I thought they held the main roster tag titles, no?
No, they had several shots, but never did come to fruition.
I feel like Kalisto's right now is carrying the ball really well that Rey Mysterio left.
Yeah, definitely.
He's definitely playing good to the ambassador, and he's a high flyer. He's very over with the crowd, and he's very popular with the kids. I feel like he can do no wrong.
He reminds me of a young Ultimo Dragon.
Oh, absolutely.
And most likely one of the main reasons for the inspiration for the upcoming Global Cruiserweight Series WWE will be doing.
So we had Apollo Crews versus Adam Rose moving on here. Squash match. I mean, I was pretty cool. I thought that Adam Rose did really well in the match, but Apollo Crews, obviously, he's the highlight right now. What do you guys expect out of Apollo Crews, especially this early on? Because in my opinion, I feel like he got moved up way too early.
I could see him as a future Intercontinental Champion. Or maybe next year's Andre the Giant Memorial.
I definitely expect some big things out of him. I mean, he worked his way through the indie scene coming into NXT, so all we can see is from here is let's see how he does now that he's on the main roster of WWE. He's so far undefeated, but let's see where it goes from here.
I have to say, Mike?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm kind of a big fan. I mean, I didn't really follow his indie career too much, but when they brought him into to NXT, I was like, man, dude, this guy could be the next face, the next John Cena. the next Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, I agree, but right now he needs to work on his mic skills.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's going on with him is that, and I think they knew that in NXT, but I'm not too sure why they pushed him up quickly, like you said. But I mean, he has the in-ring ability. I mean, he can tell a story like he does in the ring. I feel like maybe he should be one of those strong type, quiet type guys. Like, guys
I
like
feel
Batista
that because in WWE you can get over on just being smiley and doing backflips, whereas in NXT, they're in there for 4 hours at a time. You need to talk. You need to have an interesting
so I don't know, man. I mean, I'm hoping, that within the next 6 months he does hold a title, but I hope it's not one of those short title runs where, Luke Harper wins it for like 2 months and then loses it really quick.
Yeah.
And exactly. So hopefully good things to come from Apollo Crews. He could be the next Rock, guys. I mean, you have to look at it like that. He could be the next big guy for us.
Looks like Bobby Lashley, mini Bobby Lashley, but who does a gorilla press and falls it by a moonsault? That is just incredible. Now, have you noticed that one of his finishing maneuvers is almost similar to what Sami Zayn does?
It's a tilt-a-whirl power bomb somewhere.
It's like it's a hanging atomic drop to a tilt-a-whirl power bomb. And see, if you think about it, doesn't Zayn
does something almost?
Yeah, Blue Thunder Bomb.
The Thunder Bomb. Yeah, it looks similar to that, but this one has more height and more power. But
it's impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive. It's one of the most powerful looking power bombs that I've seen as of late, compared to say Batista.
Yeah.
Or the pop-up power bomb.
I love Kevin Owens' power bomb.
There's a lot of power bombs. Each wrestler has a different type of power bomb.
Like Seth Rollins has the corner power bomb.
Yeah, the buckle bomb, which unfortunately was the move that ended up retiring Sting to a degree, of course. I was wanting to say this, though. Do you kind of view the Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania as similar to that of the draft lottery, except with NXT call-ups?
Not really, because they're still technically on the same show. They're still technically on the same roster. What I do feel is that WWE is finally starting to listen to its fans. Vince finally got his show that he wanted. It was terrible. But I feel like right now they're actually starting to listen a bit more. Like, yeah, you can say, oh, Shane, social media campaigns, everything. Everybody knows he's coming back. Everybody knows he's going to manage Raw. Where the story goes from here, I don't know. He's definitely going to be back next week, though. Yeah. And it's very refreshing, I have to say, to have a face general manager.
Oh, yeah.
It's very refreshing to see because, honestly, I feel that the show performs better when you don't have an evil authority figure, like setting up roadblocks and setting up stuff like that, because it gets tiresome. It gets so tiresome, and it gets so boring after a while.
Yeah. I mean, when Vince did it, it was fun, especially in the attitude.
Because here's the thing. Vince wasn't afraid to get humiliated on TV. I mean, come on. The guy peed his pants on live TV.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen the Authority get their comeuppance? How many times have we seen, even Eric Bischoff get their comeuppance or Johnny Ace?
Yeah, it has to come to like an extreme measure where finally they get something done.
Yeah, because think about it. Austin got screwed over a lot, especially during the whole Attitude Era, during the whole thing with Vince McMahon. But the thing is, he always got him back.
Yeah.
He always got him back, and it made viewers want to tune in. Oh, what's he going to do in this week? What's he going to do? How is he going to get his comeuppance? Because face it, everybody wants to beat up their boss.
Yeah, to a degree. But with the Authority, it was almost like the Authority always wins. And I'm like, yeah, you guys win, but
because here's the thing. You have Stephanie McMahon, emasculating talent, and Triple H saying, you're never going to amount to anything over me. And nothing ever happens to them. And it's pretty much proving their point that, the roster's just a bunch of losers that can't do anything to the Authority. And why would we want to see a bunch of losers? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, with Shane running things now, I mean, hopefully it stays where, hey, you know what? Let the wrestlers wrestle. Give the fans what they want to see.
Absolutely. Because Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles is one of the best matches that I've seen so far.
And would that match have happened if Triple H and Stephanie were still storyline running Raw?
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably would have been maybe on SmackDown or even main event, but I'm glad that they had their time on Raw this past Monday.
I'm going to take some time off now.
I'm going to say this right now. What do y'all think about the main event? I believe it was Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, which is very odd pairing in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's what made it interesting because I thought Bray was going to turn on him. I thought he was going to jip him from the tag.
They worked very well together.
Yeah,
they did. Against Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio, I can see the Wyatts as a face, but we'll see where it goes from here. But now with Bray Wyatt's recent injury in Italy, that's going to really definitely derail things.
Well, the good thing about Bray Wyatt is that he can be an imposing, intimidating figure without actually being in the ring.
Yeah.
He's, as long as you put him on the mic and as long as you have a strongman with him, he's good.
Yeah.
But however, I felt the match was really great, especially really fun to watch. I love that little spot at the end, right as he did after he did Sister Abigail, he went to pin. I believe it was Sheamus.
I think it was Del Rio.
Del Rio, and he just pointed to Sheamus, and then Reigns just took him out with a spear, and you could see that synergy, that's teamwork. It is little stuff like that that really makes the match stand out to me.
Yeah.
I just like the chemistry because, I like the fact that the timing was incredible. So the League of Nations started attacking after the match, and then you got the Wyatts coming out of nowhere. That was the best plot.
I gotta say this: as much as I like AJ Styles as a heel, I wouldn't be surprised if they do a little double turn with Roman Reigns maybe joining the Wyatt family. Knowing WWE booking, that's a possibility. Anything's a possibility. Yeah. But
both good and bad, of course.
What I like at the end of the match is that, there wasn't any attacks on Roman Reigns. There wasn't anything like that or anything cliche. It was just a stare down and an acknowledgement. He basically said, hey, I'm coming for that title.
Exactly. And that's what – and remember what Reigns said. He better be a man of his word. I'm defending this. I'm a defending champion. Whoever wants it, come get it,
Mm-hmm.
He even said that on the Today Show, too.
I think a Bray Wyatt championship run is long.
Very long overdue. Yeah, Triple H has said, Bray Wyatt would be one of the first NXT guys to hold that title.
He's been around the same time that Roman Reigns was champion, so why not give that man his due?
Except I don't see the fans ever turning on Bray Wyatt. Fans.
They have before, though. Here's the thing, because they never really had much for Bray Wyatt. Because every time that Bray Wyatt starts getting some traction, they kill it off. I feel he should have won his feud against Cena at WrestleMania. I feel he should have won his feud against Dean Ambrose. I feel he should have won his feud.
Well, he did against Ambrose.
Yeah, but what did it really matter? Because in the end,
was setting him up for Undertaker.
Yeah, Ambrose still got the upper hand. I feel he should have beaten Undertaker. Honestly, I feel like a lot of things kind of just went awry with Bray Wyatt. Whether they weren't ready to pull the trigger with him, or he was just up against too big of a name in the WWE brass to even consider beating. Because here's the thing, they rely on him, they trust him, obviously. But as far as getting the big win, I don't think it's happening. Because let's face it, the only one he's actually gotten, let's say, Jericho.
Yeah. SummerSlam 2014.
And everybody beats Jericho.
Yeah. The only one he got on Cena was Extreme Rules that same year, but that match was terrible. The cage match. Yeah. It was voted the worst match of 2014 by Wrestling Observer.
And that ending, what was that ending?
I try to forget it because it was that terrible.
Mike, your thoughts on Bray Wyatt?
I think he can have it in with the crowd when he wants to have it, and I feel like he's the type of guy that can perform when you really need him to. Obviously, right? He's not a bad wrestler. From what I've seen in the past couple of years that he's been there already on the main roster, I'm not disappointed in his matches, but at the same time, I'm not wowed because and I've told you guys in the past, I just don't feel the whole I'm the new face of fear gimmick, etc. Blah 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 blah. Especially with those Hawaiian shirts, and the beards just make me laugh. Honestly, guys like Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, those guys look scary to me. But Bray Wyatt does not look scary to me. He has a baby face, and I think that's what messes it up for him. But real quick, guys, let's call the letters, and I'll let you know what I think on when we come back.
KCYP 97.7 FM, Mission McAllen.
And we're back. Okay, so going back to Bray Wyatt, like I said, I think he has it over with the crowd, but at the same time, I just don't know, man. I don't see him. I've talked about this before, saying that he should have had a title, and it's really long overdue that he should have been U.S. champion, Intercontinental champion. I don't see him being like one of the guys that goes, just straight to the main title. Very few guys have done that, and right now we see AJ Styles getting into that mode where they just brought him in. And, but he has a huge wrestling background. What does Bray Wyatt have?
Bray Wyatt, he's been a product of the WWE machine for a while. He worked in FCW as Husky Harris, the original NXT, and then now he's Bray Wyatt.
And is also, let's not forget, the son of Mike Rotundo, the grandson of the late Blackjack Mulligan. So he grew up in the business.
Bo Dallas's older brother, I think, right?
Yes, he guys, I want to. If you don't mind, I want to give a special shout out, a few shout outs. I want to give a special shout out to my wife, Liza. Honey, thank you for supporting me. And thank you for supporting ARMBAR.
Thanks for the chicken, Liza.
Yes, my wife barbecued today. She did a great job. All I did was marinate the chicken the night before. I came home, the food was ready. She makes a mean salad. I also want to talk about Ruthless Lala. She's one of our local wrestlers here in the Valley. We want to give a special shout out to her and also to support her. If you want to go to Facebook, just go to Ruthless Lala, and you could go to her link. She, if you can click the support Lala, that would be great. We're trying to raise money for her. She's going through some battles right now, health battles. If you guys can go through the GoFundMe.com or go through Ruthless Lala, try to click that.
I'm actually going to post the link on Facebook,
Yes.
Tony, on our Armbar page. So if you guys don't follow us on Facebook, follow us at www.facebook.com/UTPA Armbar. And I'm going to post that link up for Miss LaShawn here. So big shout outs to her. And anything else you want to add to that, Tony?
Yes, guys, anybody that's religious or that wants to put a special, prayer, please, pray for her, help her get back on her feet. She's cleared from the doctors, but she's cleared for some doctors, but she's not ready to wrestle yet. If you guys can keep her in prayers, keep her strong. We all love you, Lala, one of the toughest wrestlers in the Rio Grande Valley.
Indeed.
And we want to thank you week in, week out for entertaining us. And if you guys got $5, $6, whatever money you have, and you want to put it for Ruthless Lala. She deserves it. She needs help. And give her your love, and give Armbar love as well.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
She's a great wrestler, one tough individual, but also a very kind and very awesome person who's going through some tough times. And we wish we here at Armbar, we wish the best for Ruthless Lala, LaShawn Harris, and hope that everything gets better for her health-wise, and we hope to see her back in the ring soon. So definitely, when you can, go to the GoFundMe page, which we'll also post on Armbar, as Mike mentioned, and just do what you can to be able to help Ruthless Lala, especially in these hard times. And Ruthless, we love you here at Armbar, and we hope that you get better soon, and Godspeed, of course.
One day we want to, maybe one day, whenever you recover, Lala, it'd be an honor if you come to our show again.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah. I wasn't part of Armbar at that time, but I saw the video for it, and I was highly entertained when Ruthless was on the show, and hope to see her back here on Armbar. It would be awesome. I'd be honored, of course, to be part of that broadcast when she does return.
Yes.
All right, guys, let's move forward. Have we talked about NXT in a while by any chance?
Actually, we haven't.
When was the last time we talked about NXT? I didn't get to watch it this past week, but I know you did, Jay, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about that, Jay, if you want to get us started on that.
We had two great debuts on NXT television, or if you want to call it television because it's on the WWE Network as opposed to traditional TV. But we had the opening match with the A-Double Austin Aries taking on Angelo Dawkins. Aries won his victory, won his match with the Roaring Elbow. I was kind of disappointed that we didn't see the Brainbuster, but I guess WWE is making some changes when it comes to Aries' moveset. But great match altogether with Aries defeating Dawkins. And then also we saw Bayley return from her women's title loss to Asuka and saying, hey, she wants to get the championship back. Great match that she had with Liv Morgan. Alexa Bliss defeating Tessa Blanchard, the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Tully Blanchard. Indeed, yeah. And also the main event, we saw Shinsuke Nakamura take on the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, in which Nakamura, very great matchup. All I can say is, the crowd is just behind Nakamura
So
instantly. And this is only, people forget, this is only his second match in NXT.
The man has such a charisma about him, and he has such a character around him that it's impossible not to feel hyped about him. Because, especially considering, if you do have prior knowledge of his history in Japan, where you have seen this match, the King of Strong Style, Swagsuke as some call him, he deserves every single bit of that respect.
Indeed. I mean, Nakamura is just, when I heard he was coming to WWE, I was already telling friends, this guy's a legend in Japan, multiple-time champion from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And
I was worried about him, if anything, because I was scared. Are they going to ruin his character? They're going to turn him to a Yoshitatsu
or a Tajiri or Hakushi, but no, let Nakamura be.
They let him keep his name. They let him keep his gimmick.
Yeah, the only thing they changed was just the name of his finisher, which was the Bombaye, which is now
the Kinshasa.
Yeah.
Which is the story is that it used to be called the Bomaye because I believe during Tyson versus Foreman, it was the Rumble in Jungle. The fans were basically screaming, "Bomaye Ali, Bomaye," which is basically saying "kill him."
Ali and Foreman,
which is basically saying "kill him." So that's why they call it the Bomaye. Yeah. But now they changed it to the Kinshasa because that's where the Rumble in Jungle took place.
Yeah. Ultimately, a great episode of NXT television tonight. And all I can say with a lot of the call-ups that they've had, I'm glad that Aries and Nakamura are going to basically help fill in where a lot of those call-ups, left some of those voids, especially with long-time standouts like the Vaudevillains and Enzo and Cass.
I'm worried about the Vaudevillains, especially because I'm scared that they're going to get the Tyler Breeze treatment.
Yeah, which is true. I mean, it's like you go to NXT, you can be top billing, and yet you come to WWE, look at Tyler Breeze, look at even just to a degree Neville.
I really hate what they did with Neville, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have had a great year last year, and I feel like it was just ruined. I do not know why. I mean, there was no backstage drama with him. I mean, the guy did everything he needed to do. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. But what did they do with him? Not much. He tagged with Stardust a couple times. That's from what I remember.
Yeah.
He had a couple good matches when he did debut. They were pushing him a little. You got Tony drinking a glass of wine over here in the background.
We think it's
Tony, the machine, my truck over here. But anyway, so going back to NXT, I mean, Neville stands out to me out of all the guys that have been brought up so far. And Tyler Breeze also, because I'm a big fan of Tyler Breeze.
Can I just say, I still think so far Neville has had the best NXT championship reign.
Yeah, which could soon be broken by Kevin Owens.
Followed closely by Kevin Owens, in my opinion.
Another guy I'm also, believe it or not, I'm a big fan of that I kind of feel, man, they really kind of dropped the ball on is Bo Dallas. I thought he was highly entertaining in NXT.
Because the thing is, he had subtlety in NXT, in my opinion. The very thing that made Bo Dallas was how subtle he was, is that they didn't make it so apparent, like, oh, I'm a heel. It was the fact that he was an idiot that thought he was a good guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I love the part where they were saying, they're booing you. It's like, they're not saying boo. They're saying boo.
Boo. I could see him as a face in the long run.
I mean, they tried that, but that's what made him annoying. The fact that I feel that Bo Dallas is a natural heel, and he can be such a hilarious heel if they just give him the chance to be himself. Yeah. If they let his character be subtle and not just make it so obvious that, oh, I'm a bad guy and I'm going to do bad things. Make him a bad guy that thinks he's a good guy and do stupid things.
You know what he reminds me of? The Graduate, but graduating hit with the tack hammer so many times. I mean, I feel like you remember the Graduate, Lanny Poffo?
Yeah.
For some reason, he reminds me of him, but the opposite.
Hmm.
Can you imagine if Lanny Poffo was wrestling today? 1980s Lanny Poffo, and you got Bo Dallas. That would be a very interesting tag team.
I could see the Genius managing Bo Dallas and throwing out some poetry out there. Like
it's better than seeing Eugene. Remember Eugene?
Oh gosh,
Eugene was a great wrestler. The character I may not have agreed with, but
the character was god awful.
But man, was Nick Dinsmore? He's still a great talent. He's still training, I believe, for WWE. For NXT.
But also, if you think about it, we've had another guy like the Graduate. That was Damien Sandow.
And I feel that they should return him to Savior of the Masses gimmick.
Yeah, I mean, Damien Sandow. I mean, that's another guy that you think that WWE would, pull the trigger on, but instead it's like just another guy to. Yeah, ever since he cashed in his Money in the Bank championship opportunity with John Cena a couple of years back, it's like, just little by little they changed his character. Like, for example, I went to a house show in April 2014, and every time he would try to, tell the crowd, hey, be quiet, it was always silence. But instead he was yelling out, shut up. I'm thinking, man, they're changing his character, aren't they? And then sure enough, we saw the Miz stunt double.
Yeah.
So what is Damien Sandow?
Is he with the Social Outcasts?
No.
I'm surprised he isn't with the Social Outcasts.
I know, and the thing is, too, this guy, they don't know what to do with him. I mean, I like the part when he was mimicking everybody, and then all of a sudden he was acting like Macho Man with
Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel, and then that's when Hulk Hogan dropped the bomb on that one.
Yeah.
And then they really destroyed his gimmick, if you think about it.
It's like I said, what is Damian Sandow now?
Barely on Superstars.
Yeah.
It's sad to say. I mean,
Wait,
yeah,
is that show still on?
yeah, they still show it every week. It's
Still
the
show
Raw
it.
pre-show, basically. Well, it's the pre-show.
It's a
of the
Sunday
Raw
night
pre-show,
heat.
He's not even a mid-Carter.
It's,
I mean,
it's like
he's not
WWE
a-
Saturday night.
he needs to be a
Yeah.
mid-Carter. I mean, he could have been at least, two-time Intercontinental Champion by now?
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy that won the Money in the Bank ladder match a couple years back.
And
right?
he lost it on purpose. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah,
And
He
at
was
the end,
like
it went to
another
nothing.
Kennedy.
he had the brown leather briefcase, man. I love that. I
Or
mean,
as Michael Cole called it, the chocolate bar. Because
Yeah.
that's what it looked like.
It looked like a
Yeah.
punch bar. And you know what? He almost won the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial.
the first time.
And then they just
2015.
give it to Big Show. So he could just do.
And then Baron Corbin does the same pose.
Mhm.
But
It means something when it's Baron Corbin. I think they just wanted to give Big Show just one moment because let's face it, the guy's been in it for what, almost 20 years.
Yeah, I mean,
He only won
the
like
spot.
3 WrestleManias out of all of them.
Yeah,
I
including the
went to-
Intercontinental Championship a few years back.
Yeah, against Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, let's move forward. Do you guys want to talk it? Let's see. We got Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. Then they defeated, or they tag team. It's a tag team match, right?
Yeah, they faced the Vaudevillains, and they defeated the Vaudevillains in what most likely will be one of the final
It's
matches.
probably one of their last tape matches, right, on that show.
Those matches were taped during WrestleMania Access.
Yeah.
So most likely those were going to be the final commitments in NXT for the Vaudevillains. And next week we got the tag team champs American Alpha taking on most likely what could also be their final NXT appearance, Enzo and Cass, which should be a good matchup. And plus also Apollo Crews against Samoa Joe, which another great matchup, but also another good send off from Crews from NXT to WWE.
Honestly, I really wish that they would bring a trios division to NXT, either NXT or WWE, because I feel that especially with the roster as big as they have it now, it could definitely benefit from something like that. Maybe a King of Trios tournament.
Yeah. I mean, the Trios Championship is something that exists in Lucha Underground with Ivelisse, Son of Havoc, and Helico. And they're doing well without a formal tag team.
I honestly
division.
believe that trios are some of the best matches around.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But yeah, just got to wait and see what WWE decides to do. I mean, I even also thought about the same thing with Tony as well, bringing a women's tag team division because you have so many great female wrestlers.
Well, maybe not even just women's tag team, but what about intergender wrestling?
I missed that. I mean, that was around when Mark Merrill was wrestling, and
You could definitely sign
Same
Joey
one.
Ryan and Candice LeRae if that happened.
Yeah, but you even have people like, let's say, Sexy Star, or you go into other divisions. You have Candice LeRae tag teaming with people like Joey Ryan
Yeah.
in
I can see
intergender
Tyler
matches.
Breeze participate in something like that too.
Absolutely, he
Tyler
has
and
to-
Summer.
Yeah, I believe intergender wrestling could be really popular, and I feel that it could be something that shows, hey, the women here are definitely on par in talent
Yeah, because
with the men.
there's no more divas. It's all
Yeah.
superstars.
Intergender match intergender tag team titles.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
Well,
I mean,
why not just have them fight for the tag titles?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with that actually.
I kind of have to,
I can see your point because I mean, you got some wrestlers that are just ruthless and they don't care if it's a girl. Sometimes they'll go a little too hard, and sometimes
Well, I mean, especially in those intergender matches, you have. I mean, once the male or female tags in, the other one has to basically just go back out.
No, you'd
Yeah.
be surprised actually, because especially looking at the indie scene, people like Candice LeRae, they can dish it just as much as they can take it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the indie scene though, and everything's less restricted on that end of the spectrum. Man.
Yeah, but I feel that WWE could definitely pull it up just as much. If anything, like, I know there's the whole violence against women thing, but I feel that it could be definitely a strong showing. Like, I believe Sasha Banks could be one of the greats if she was just allowed to fight dudes.
Oh man, you know what? That would be great, but I think there's just too much like liabilities on WWE's part. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not saying,
it's
fight
not so
Brock
much the woman
Lesnar.
on violence thing, and I don't believe in that because China. I mean, she was the first woman Intercontinental
Beat Jarrett.
champion, so we know
Yeah.
we know that
Jacqueline
women can
was
fight
cruiserweight
against men,
champion.
but once someone's seriously injured, it's going to come to that point where should this be happening?
Yeah.
Should we be doing this? Is this the right?
Well,
thing
I'm
to
not
do?
saying, she needs to fight the likes of Brock Lesnar or whatever. I'm saying, put them in fair competition, make them equal game, because even Lucha Underground is doing intergender matches.
Yeah, they've been doing that since they opened.
have you noticed?
A year now.
And have you guys noticed that? Like when you see an intergender match, tag team match with WWE, when a woman when a woman tags a guy and there's a woman in the ring, they don't actually tag. They just let the other woman go into the ring. They don't do any tagging.
And that's always what's been awkward because I feel that women and men could put on some definitely great matches.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, as you mentioned, Lucha Underground, Sexy Star take on everyone from Big Zeke to of course, Marty the Moth, who not the biggest fan of all. I'm not really a big fan of the character, but if a girl like Sexy Star can do it, I could see someone like Sasha Banks maybe put her up against maybe a cruiserweight wrestler. Put
her up against someone like Neville, or Kalisto. I feel like they could put on a killer match. And I feel intergender matches are something that's definitely lacking in today's product.
Yeah, well, just do it right. Don't put it like a total mismatch. Like you said,
or don't even overbook it to the point. How is this woman going to compete against this man? Make it seem like from the get-go they're equal competition.
Yeah, even Ronda Rousey's trying to get intergender MMA fights going, which I could see maybe happening, but that's going to be, of course, at the Dana White.
I feel like that's going to be.
It'll never happen.
You might see that maybe in Bellator.
Not in the U.S. Yeah, it's not here in the States. Man.
Maybe in Bellator because they'll allow people in their 50s to still fight, like Shamrock and Gracie, and does that result in television ratings? When's the last time Bellator was even on pay-per-view?
I don't recall.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Bellator.
yeah, let's not.
All right, do you guys want to talk about dirt sheets this week? Anything that we got going on there, Isaac?
Nothing that big, actually. Nothing brewing right now in the world of sports entertainment.
It's kind of true, actually. I haven't really been seeing a lot of articles been punched out there on Facebook, Twitter. I haven't seen a lot of stuff going on there, actually. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I can probably
Tony's gonna bring us one.
Okay. Well, let me tell you. Scott Hall made a public announcement on Facebook that South Texas Comic-Con fans, I will be here in McAllen with Eazy-E, Eric Bischoff, and X-Pac. He says, I hope you guys come by and bring your A game. He just threw the classic toothpick. Now, talking about Dirt Sheet, let's talk about Dirt Sheet.
Dirt Sheet Roundup.
All right.
Sponsored by Bootios.
We need a soundbite for that.
Yeah, we do.
They make sure.
You ain't booty.
Okay. Now, I was reading up on something here. WWE signs a new performance center. And
where's it located?
No, I think you meant to say they sign new talent.
I know that they signed Nikki Storm, especially from ICW.
Yeah.
From ICW, they had signed up a lot of UK talent like Nikki Storm and who was it? Who were the other names on that list?
I didn't get to see the entire list, unfortunately, but I heard about that.
It was 4 women, and I believe that they could be, very prominent successors to the 4 horsewomen in NXT.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. I got one. It's Colt Cabana talks his ROH return. It's time to let bygones be bygones. How he helped Kevin Owens quit his warehouse job before WWE.
Wow.
Tell me, didn't Colt Cabana leave because of Jim Cornette?
A lot of people left because Jim Cornette's booking in Ring of Honor was very dated.
Yeah, because I remember Jim Cornette said that funny doesn't sell. And, Colt Cabana took very personal offense to that because his character is mostly based around comedy.
Yeah.
Let me read this so we can get to the bottom of it, okay? Colt Cabana talks ROH return. Colt Cabana talks about the WrestleZone radio with Nick Hosman and WrestleCon about his return to Ring of Honor, helping to launch Pro Wrestling Tees and 1HourTees.com, being a trendsetter for pro wrestlers when it comes to podcasting, comedy, and more. CC Colt Cabana, he says, asked me for how long it came back, especially when Jim Cornette left the company. He was the reason why I wasn't in the first place that we guys were talking about. They asked me to come back, and I had a chip on my shoulder. I didn't think it was right. It's been 5 years, and I didn't like the way I was asked to leave the company. It's been 5 years, and I was like, I'm going to let this go. There's a lot of people out there that still go, are you a Ring of Honor? Are you with Ring of Honor? And he says they know the idea of Ring of Honor. They know I was there, but obviously there were some of them weren't even watching. Now it's a whole new fan base as opposed to when I was there. I'm still in my prime of my career, and I'm still going. I am on the road 150, 200 days out of the year. I'm still doing. I was like, it's time to let bygones be bygones. Essentially do it for the fans and the platform that they have for the new fans to see what I do. And more, if you guys go to the WrestleZone.com, there's more into this topic.
I just believe it's interesting because I believe Colt Cabana was one of the first most prominent names in Ring of Honor, especially facing off against the likes of CM Punk, Samoa Joe, Tyler Black, Bryan Danielson's. He's one of the first big names, let's say, for Ring of Honor.
He was Ring of Honor. He was the main staple.
I wouldn't say that. I
I think he was.
I would say Bryan Danielson was more than anything.
Those three guys were like the main staples of wrestling.
Kevin Owens, who at the time was Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor, talked about it. That Jim Cornette, during his time running Ring of Honor from 2009 to 2012, was not a fan of Steen, was not a fan of
Cabana,
Generico, Sami Zayn, Steve Corino, or Colt Cabana.
I believe one of the first things that Cornette wanted to do was take off Generico's mask.
Yeah. He put them all in the same program, thinking, I don't want to deal with these guys. You know, Cornette had his talent that he had his eye on. Others,
let's say, who were his talents? Like, I believe he was really into Tyler Black.
He was really also into the American Wolves. Davey Richards specifically is who he wanted to put the belt on. In fact, the championship that Cornette had looked like Owen said, like a police badge instead of a championship.
But, I don't know. I do respect Jim Cornette, and I do like his ideas, but I do feel that he's very dated on his booking.
He was, and ultimately it showed. And yet Owens and Generico, he was looking to think, it's going to be pushed out of the way. It's going to be an opening match type gimmick. But it ended up being the main event.
And it being like one of the biggest rivalries in Ring of Honor's history.
Hottest rivalry of 2010. And the main event of Final Battle 2010, the Fight Without Honor. And again, 2 years later in what was...
Ladder Wars.
Yeah, Ladder Wars. Zayn's final match in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Goes to show what Cornette did not know at this point.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, final thoughts here as we wrap up ARMBAR?
Well, we got about 8 minutes, actually, so no final thoughts.
No final thoughts yet?
Not yet, actually. I mean... Let's just, Tony, you want to get a little creative here? And
let's do it. I feel great, guys. We're actually doing it at my house for once. And I know I love it doing it, Mikey's house, too. It's nice and cozy with the little dogs running around.
Shout out to Coco, by the way.
Yeah, and Cheeto. Now, this is a different atmosphere. We're doing it at a garage. I have a tiled garage, so we were able to put this thing together. And, if you see we have some posters. We got a little of WWE memorabilia here.
We also, if you're watching us live on YouTube, by the way, that's what he means.
Now, we had an ARMBAR barbecue. We usually have an ARMBAR barbecue or ARMBAR cookout. And this time, I didn't cook this time. My wife actually cooked. My wife, Liza.
Delicious.
Did a really good
Delicious. I marinated the chicken. She grilled it. I got home from work, long day. I did a double shift. Food was already ready. She made an awesome cucumber salad. We're going to eventually, guys, we're going to be doing some cooking segments of ARMBAR. And
some wrestling-related dishes.
Yes. And you know what I call this? The chicken? What should we call this grilled ARMBAR chicken? What should we name it? We put some good spices. We put jalapeno ranch. By the way, if you guys want to get a good recipe, you guys got to go to Cooking Connection. I work there. HB in 10th and Trenton. I'm there all the time. And we have these really good. And even Mikey the business.
If you want to go stock ARMBAR fans.
Yeah, if you want to stock us. We sell these great rubs here at the Cooking Connection. Right now, they're buy one, get one free. That's going to be good through the 19th of April. Jalapeno ranch, Adam's jalapeno ranch. It's so delicious. We use it as a marinade for the chicken leg quarters, and we also use it as a dip for sour cream. We put like 4 tablespoons of the seasoning of jalapeno ranch and a container of Lala sour cream and 3 green onion, 3 bunches of green onion chopped. It was so delicious. What do you want to call the chicken?
I guess since that could be like our inaugural dish that we did, why not the ARMBAR chicken?
The ARMBAR chicken.
The ARMBAR grilled chicken.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I call a recipe next week. I want to do Bob Backlund's chicken wings.
I thought you want to do pork.
I mean, I could do some Razor Ramon Cuban sandwiches.
That sounds like an idea.
We all have our hair gelled up, just like.
So you want me to get the pork butts next week?
Sure. I'll go ahead and make it ready.
Sorry, that just sounded wrong. Pork butts.
Well, that's what they are.
Shoulder.
Well, shoulder, but if you want, you take the Cuban rub, or you want to keep the Cuban rub.
I'm gonna make my own marinade, dude.
Okay. So next week's menu, guys, we're gonna have the Cuban sandwiches.
All right.
I think I heard my wife talk.
Yeah.
I think she's a fan of the idea.
All right, final 3 minutes, guys. Let's give those closing shout-outs now.
All right. Well, I want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, Linda Vasquez. Thank you so much for supporting and listening, honey, and especially a big thank you to the ARMBAR universe. Always listening, always making sure that our voices are heard, giving us feedback. Remember, guys, we do this for you guys. We do this for the Rio Grande Valley wrestling community.
Yes.
We do it specifically for you guys. We do it for the love of the sport. We do it for the love of wrestling. And please, give us more feedback. Give us more thoughts. What can we do? What can we do to make ARMBAR more entertaining? And a really special shout out to Ruthless Lala, who's going through some really hard times right now. And remember, we put up the link for a GoFundMe on our Facebook page. Please consider supporting her because she could use it. Tony,
I want to give you guys thank you, ARMBAR Nation. Thank you for supporting us. We're at 211, 212 likes right now on our Facebook.
212, actually.
212. We're at 212, guys. Please keep spreading the word on ARMBAR. This means a lot to us. We really want you guys to keep supporting our show. We love you guys. Keep giving us love, giving us some ideas for topics for this wrestling radio station. Give some ideas. If you guys want to name your favorite food and we want to make a recipe, let's do it. We're going to do some cooking shows in the near future. We'll be cooking with Isaac, Jay, Mike the Biz, myself. Maybe we can throw in a little guest, my other half, my beautiful wife, Liza. I hope she hope she does continue, or maybe she might be a little shy, or who knows. I know she'll whip up something really good. She did a great job on the grill today.
And, of course, a special shout-out to my mom as well as my brother and my sister and Uncle Joe. Love you guys. And, again, remember to continue to support the ARMBAR family. To all my friends and family that support ARMBAR, thank you, and special shout-outs to you. And, again, shout-out to Ruthless Sala. Get well soon, and we're in your corner.
All right, my closing shout-outs are going to go to a couple of people, actually. First off, if you listen to KCYP 97.7 FM this city, you have other shows on here. You have Mark Benio's show. You have the Geek Slap, and I've been listening to the Geek Slap a lot lately. I don't know why. I'm a huge fan, and I've actually posted on y'all's Twitter, and you favorited it. So thank you very much. Big fan of the Geek Slap. Shout outs to the fans, of course, for listening all the time. Anyone that, share our page, like Tony said, on Facebook, social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Find us at KCYP ARMBAR or ARMBAR KCYP. Just search it on Google. You'll probably find our Facebook pages, Twitter pages, YouTube pages, etc. So, Mom and Dad, I love you guys very much. And, everyone that, I associate with, Tony, Isaac, Jay, all the wrestling fans out there, and all my other friends. So, kudos to you guys. Thanks for listening.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to ARMBAR. Another edition this week. We'll be back next week. More wrestling talk, more news. And remember, y'all, hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
If you're not down with ARMBAR, we got 2 words for you. No gloves.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week. You're listening to KCYP 97.7 FM, this city.
I think I got a little too loud. You picked too loud on that. Yeah, don't get too close to the mic when you're yelling. 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 You're yelling.